Thank you for that intro. I just want to thank everybody for being here today. I know you guys have really busy schedules, and it means a lot for you guys to be here. And hopefully you'll get a lot out of this, and you'll see really why Broadsmart is a sophisticated player in the hosted UCaaS type space. When Jen first told me about this opportunity to speak in front of you guys, I was excited for a few reasons. One of them being that it's always awesome to get in front of and be with an excellent partner like TCG. They do such an amazing job for their partners. They really go above and beyond. And it's just awesome to be able to work with a company like that. So really appreciate everything that they do. So thank you for that. Another reason I'm excited is because I get to be in front of you guys, all of you, the people who matter most. And Broadsmart has no direct sales force, so you guys are it. We really appreciate everything you guys do, and we're here to support you in every way we possibly can. Another reason I'm excited is because Broadsmart has an excellent story to tell. We've been in business for over 18 years now, and we've been doing this very successfully for quite some time now. We are actually headquartered in West Palm Beach, Florida, and that's where everything basically sits. And all of our tax support and our service delivery folks, our CEO, all in West Palm Beach, including myself. And so, here, I'll go through here. Trying to get this. So we were acquired about 2 years ago by a company called magicJack. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them. And the funny thing is, we're actually a completely separate entity from magicJack. We're acquired by them to be their blue chip business-to-business provider, and which is really nice because they have a lot of really intelligent resources there, and it adds a lot of strength to who we are. We're a nationwide provider, but we really have that small company type feel. And if I can get this going. So we really have that small company type feel. You can basically call our CEO. And so a few years ago, we were acquired, like I said, by magicJack. And which is really nice because they have a lot of resources, and it's really nice to be able to do that. So, let me see. Like I said, you can contact our CEO, Karen Parker, Jason Ruth, Daryl, Joel. They're all really great people, and we're here to support you guys in every way we possibly can. So. This is basically what we do. We're unified communications, business network solutions, network security solutions, and hardware solutions. We want to be your one-stop solution for everything. And we do it really well. We've been doing it very successfully. And yeah. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Joel right now, who's going to go through the presentation. And we're going to really show you why Broadsmart is a sophisticated player in the UCaaS hosted space. So again, I'm Luke Sarnas. I'm the regional channel manager for Broadsmart. I really want to get to know you guys better and really understand what you guys do. I'm available for demos, quotes, anything that you guys really need to support you guys is what I'm here for. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here, and I'm going to turn it over to Joel, who's going to take you through our presentation here.
Yeah, so hi everybody. Joel O'Brien with Broadsmart, the Executive Vice President of Solutions Engineering for the medium and large enterprise. That's my unofficial title, but I run the engineering and operations group at Broadsmart. I've been doing it since inception of the hosted PBX product that we launched back in 2005. And like Luke, we're very appreciative of the TCG family supporting us and inviting us to this event, and continuing to do lots of joint marketing and event type efforts here, to always, show that we're evolving, right? Our products. We've been selling UCaaS hosted PBX for a long time, but we've got several new products we want to talk about today that we feel are continue to differentiate us in the marketplace. We're not just another geo-redundant BroadSoft shop, right? We do lots of things technology-wise that are different today than we did, even 5 or 6 years ago, as well as the way we manage implementations and service delivery. It's getting even better. We're just all about project management and white glove. One of the things we've sort of evolved into, and what I like to talk about, is to customers and dealers and partners like you guys, is that we feel like we're project managers and we know a lot about the phone business, right? That's the number one thing for us. We take on a lot of complex opportunities, things that normally have something out of the box. Typically, we also take the routine opportunities, and we're going to show you today and kind of go over a little bit about the magicJack acquisition and how that's helped us with our cost structures so that we can continue to do project management type implementations for any size customer. Could be 5 seats, it's 500 seats, doesn't matter. It's baked in, but at the same time, we're cost competitive with anybody who just ships phones around and expects the customer to plug those in. Okay. We're going to go over 4 different areas that we really hit on: UCaaS, hosted PBX, SIP trunking, POTS replacement, business networking solutions, including WAN optimization, and SD-WAN, which is a newer product for us that we've introduced in the marketplace. Network security solutions, we've actually been doing managed network security, cybersecurity, probably for about 3 years now. We have a solution that's powered by Palo Alto Networks, which is a leader in the next generation security space. We're going to touch on that a little bit if you guys are interested. And of course, hardware solutions. Most opportunities that we sell and support, we've actually, the customers come to us for the hardware. We sell everything into the solution, right? Whether it's the bandwidth, of course, the subscription-based services with hosted PBX, but also the switches, the routers, Edgewaters, the full gamut of what they need. Now firewalls as well through the Palo Alto solution. Okay, BroadSmart difference, get into this a little bit. Obviously, we've got lots of years of experience. That's a big deal. Network uptime, we strive for 100% uptime. We've achieved that over the last at least 5 to 6 years in our core. We have SLAs that are 5 nines today. We don't need to do 4 nines. We're completely geo-redundant in our core and have the highest availability, whether your customer comes in via NNI, network-to-network integration type access, or over-the-top internet. Okay. Direct control. Part of the reason we have such successful uptime is that we own and operate everything. We own our own BroadSoft solution. With the magicJack acquisition, most people don't know it, but magicJack, to keep the consumer costs low for that product, they built out a state-of-the-art CLEC infrastructure. Not wholesale, right? It's an underutilized, overbuilt, state-of-the-art infrastructure, 32 soft switches around the US. We are the largest CLEC by rate center in North America. Bigger than Level 3, bigger than Bandwidth.com. That's what we depend on every day. We've got those direct interconnects with the ILECs in many of the independent operating companies that Level 3 just doesn't touch. Okay, and that was really driven, right, by the magicJack offer. Now we're leveraging that network, and it's a low-cost network to us, and it's not out there for wholesale. So you don't hear about it, but it's there, and that's what we use every day now. Skipped over a couple of things. Custom solutions. So again, we build custom solutions. We do lots of things that are out of the box, where many different providers and companies that you guys may look at don't necessarily do. Custom dial plans. We do PBX integration, hybrid scenarios where a customer still has legacy phone systems in certain locations that they may want to maintain on SIP, while other locations are going into voice over IP, right, to meet certain term commitments or terms that are kind of fading away with their current carrier. So we do those sorts of integrations, lots of managed security integrations these days, SD-WAN, of course. We get involved in all of it. Just keep this moving here. So sort of a high-level footprint, of course, United States, our bread and butter. Canada, something else we've gained from the magicJack footprint, from that CLEC AR They are actually a CLEC also in Canada, with a pretty broad reach of the ability to LNP anywhere in Canada. Puerto Rico and some of the Caribbean islands are some other areas that we can now natively port numbers in. And we've got some spaces in Europe too, England and Germany in particular today, that we can actually port numbers to our network. We've got dial plans set up, local dial plans for those entities in those countries, so that it looks and feels just like, the incumbent there or the PTT in those particular areas. So LNP, LEC interconnection coverage map, this is basically showing, we're pretty vast. Obviously, we've got the NFL cities covered. We also have, going back to our CLEC infrastructure that we own and operate ourselves, we also have that tier 2, tier 3 market sewn up. And one of our largest retail customers, Advance Auto Parts, really drove us to open up lots of tier 2 markets, because it's a do-it-yourself type consumer that buys those types of auto parts, right? No, they're in every small town USA. And we've taken advantage of that to now offer those services to other customers, other businesses and enterprises and retailers in those markets. Okay, like I said, we own and operate the largest CLEC network. We're not dependent on third parties. We have our own LNP, we have our own integration with Neustar, the LNP body. We have that direct integration. We're not reliant on third-party LNP gateways today. We actually also have our own interconnects, okay? So even though Luke and I are part of the BroadSmart team, which is a smaller team, we're separate and distinct, a little bit separate and distinct from what we call our WiMAX network, which is that CLEC network. That's run and operated by a separate group within magicJack BroadSmart. But again, we're tied at the hip with them. We're interconnected. We've got direct lines of technical support, escalation paths, whatever we need to support our customer base in the best way possible. Okay, best of breed infrastructure, of course, we run on our hosted PBX solution runs on BroadSoft BroadWorks. Of course, we have Cisco in our core, ASR routers in the core. We also have unified compute servers. Cisco UCS is something new we've added over the last couple of years, where we've virtualized our BroadSoft solution across our core, across our cloud. Okay. Geographic redundancy, right? The data center in Denver, data center in Atlanta, we run in an active-active approach so that any particular data center can handle 100% of the traffic. Any particular data center can take any particular call from anywhere in the region. We can honor consistent SLA across the United States with that, okay? 24/7 by 365 monitoring and management. So our NOC is out of Nashville, Tennessee. And they're monitoring our core as well as everything to the customer edge. Okay? So just a high-level slide on the geo-redundant platform. Again, Cisco Unified Compute servers. We've moved also, over the last few years, we've moved over into data centers that are SOC compliant. They run with standard operating controls and have audits annually, so that we're SOC compliant for any compliancy pieces or customers that require that. We can show those documents and that compliancy to you. Okay. Fully redundant, multiple MPLS backbone. We have an overlay of 2 separate gigabit MPLS backbones that tie our data centers in together, as well as tie us into 8 of the 32 soft switches that magicJack has for the CLEC piece. Okay. And again, we're not going to get into detail on the slide, but these are the kinds of solutions that we pull together. They can become very, very complex, right? When we talk about adding not just hosted PBX, but the managed bandwidth, whether it's over-the-top internet or some sort of connection to an NNI, a network-to-network integration to a customer's existing MPLS network. We do that very well. We actually have 5 different carriers with NNI. Connectivity that we can land, we can basically become a part of that customer's MPLS environment for the benefit of advertising our voice peering fabric, so that we can take peel off the voice traffic, keep it all managed with end-to-end quality of service and class of service. Okay. But this is becoming a typical customer where we're providing everything. Let's see here. Doesn't look like the animation's working. Or is it? anyway, that was supposed to kind of come up in order, but we'll just run with it. So we're providing, obviously the hosted PBX portion of it. In many cases, we're providing Catalyst or Cisco small business switches, managed switches with power over Ethernet, carving out voice VLANs or separate, segmenting the local area networks physically in the customer environment. We're providing our Edgewater appliance for the benefit of the voice play. We're adding SD-WAN. We have a solution, a premise-based solution. I know you guys are familiar with Acessa networks. We're powered by Acessa, and we have a nice configuration with Acessa that minimizes the impact to the customer during the transition phase. We've solutioned all of that out. And then we do managed security as a service through Palo Alto Networks. So we're providing lots of touch right into the customer network, delving into more of the managed services area, in addition to providing the staple voice solution. Working with us, again, what to expect. We're not, we've been doing project management for years. It's been a key part of our business. We continue to do that. We're able to compete with the companies that don't do that because of our lower operating costs, okay, and having now, control of our own CLEC helps with those costs and leveraging a NOC in Nashville and things like that we've gained out of that magicJack acquisition. But we still do dedicated project management team. I know some of your orders, you guys have placed orders with us, and they can be as small as 5-10 seats, maybe a couple of locations. We have a dedicated project manager for those orders that see everything through A to Z, on a timeline scale. We generally procure and configure all hardware. We don't have to do that. You guys may have a better source for that. But we do it. We like to do it. We like to configure it. We like to ship it to the customer and make sure it gets installed by our national contracted workforce. Okay, we do all the network design and documentation, so every customer gets a visual documentation. They get a baseline audit of all their, not only just their telephone numbers, but their actual network and their network connectivity with our solution. Okay, generally we're putting in managed PoE switching and things like that, so we're really tracking how the employees are coming off from maybe their legacy local area network onto this new managed local area network with VLANs and managed switching. Customer consultation, we provide a lot of consultation, bake a lot of consultation time into every single customer opportunity we touch, okay? Self-controlled LNP, again, we have direct control. We are our own LNP gateway. We have our own LNP gateway, so we have our own LNP portal into Neustar. We actually do all of that ourselves. We have a dedicated provisioner who does nothing but she does nothing but LNP orders daily for the benefit of the business, okay? Training and steady state, always included, okay? Installation, also included by default, as part of our default offer. It's a completely white glove offer. So yeah, service delivery differentiators, just high level, dedicated project management, cooperative plan phase deployments, right? Because we don't, customer comes to us with 20 sites, we don't give them a hard timeline where they have to convert those sites. It may take 6 to 8 months. We recognize that, customers have limited resources and employees too, right? So we kind of have to move along with their timeline sometimes, and that's okay. That's what we do. Direct control over the LNP process, it's just huge. Very few other providers can boast about that today, but we have that direct control. It dramatically has helped increase the operational efficiencies of our business, as well as the satisfaction, the transition to the customer, less impact, et cetera. Able to control that has really brought our operating costs, helped our operating costs, keep them in check, so that we can, continue to do project management, high touch, right, without the cost. Just high level going into our solutions here. Again, we're going to go over 4 things at a very high level. Not a whole lot of visuals here. We do want to touch on our advanced contact center, which we've been working with now for about a year, called CC1, because that's something that's going to lead into, we have a special invitation to a webinar, a live webinar next week that you guys can take advantage of as part of that, as part of our offer. So, of course, we do all the UCaaS pieces. Hosted PBX is sort of our bread and butter, but we do lots of SIP trunking and POTS replacement, especially when it comes to retail verticals and and some healthcare and hotels when they want to keep their legacy phone system. Okay, so we do a good job with reducing their costs and doing cost avoidance there, providing probably more limited value than a truly hosted PBX solution, but the customer's not, they're more interested in just cost savings, right? Sheer cost savings. So we do a good job with that. And then with hosted PBX, we just have all the features, all the bells and whistles that if the customer wants it, they can get it. Business network solutions, WAN optimization's a big one. Network resiliency, we bake a lot of that into these solutions, especially for some larger customers. It's important to have at least 2 broadband links. We layer on SD-WAN if that's a fit. Customer really wants to have more broadband as an aggregate of 2, up to 3 connections, as well as more real-time failover and fallback type diversity. So we do that. Next-gen cybersecurity solution, we'll talk a little bit about that, touch on a little bit. Managed security powered by Palo Alto Networks, leader in the next generation space, security space. And then hardware solutions, we provide, like we talked about, we provide most of those pieces and parts and components that customers need, so they don't have to think about what they have to go source. So you guys don't have to think about on behalf of the customer what's needed to go source. A couple of case study summaries here. Advance Auto Parts talked a little bit about it, but about 4,500 stores that we converted back in 2012, complete POTS replacement. So they either had NEC NEX phone systems or these vertical waves, which are SIP trunked. And today we're doing hosted. They've evolved in some sites doing hosted PBX. So we're really running the full gamut. We've done a complete PBX integration with them. It's like 8,000 SIP trunks. We replaced, back in 2012, we replaced 22,000 POTS lines with 8,000 call paths, SIP trunk, call paths in the pool, right, that all the stores could dip into and utilize to complete their phone calls.
What kind of cost savings?
Cost savings was, I don't have an absolute number, but I know they were spending, roughly $45 on average per POTS line. At the time, we reduced their spend to probably around $22, so about in half. I can tell you it was enough for them it was subsidize their MPLS network that they rolled out nationwide to put the voice on top of. The savings they directly spent back into a nationwide MPLS network to connect all their stores. So completely POTS replacement there. And now we're as they go through and refresh their stores with new cabling and whatnot in the areas where they can put Ethernet in for phone at the counters and things like that, we've been able to now start to move our hosted PBX product into those new stores that they're turning up or refreshing. Okay, so it's a nice story. 6 years running with that customer, and we hope to convert the majority of their stores to hosted PBX. So I'm sorry, here it is. See if there's anything else. The other thing we did unique for them, because they had this MPLS network that they launched in concert with reducing all those POTS lines and bringing them to SIP, was we provided a private border infrastructure for them, a private session border. So we have session border controllers, right? These Acme Oracle SBCs that wrap around our data centers to protect our Broadworks core. And for them, what we did, we implemented private borders so that no other customer touches, from over-the-top internet, things like that. No other customer comes in and touches that border that's an internet customer. They have to be a private access type customer to touch that border. And it was just an extra security level to prevent, potentially DOS, DDoS kind of thing. So we did that for them, and then we created a very unique call data feed. Most of these retail companies, these large companies, they have lots of data analytics today. Advance Auto actually has a homegrown big data mining solution for all their analytics. They do everything from marketing to use it for troubleshooting, to use it to figure out why certain stores are underperforming or overperforming, right? They crunch all these numbers and everything. We created a custom feed to feed our call data into that solution, into that Ignite system that they have. So, and we can also do it for all the off-the-shelf, the Splunks and Tibcos and all the big data and analytical feeds. We have some connectors that we can implement to actually integrate with any of those. So, unique dialing plan as well, unified dialing plan, right, connecting their headquarters, which we did not take SIP trunking. They're on a Cisco Call Manager platform because they have a large call center that they wanted to maintain that investment and didn't convert at the time. But we were able to obviously bring all their calls on net with integration, SIP trunking directly to their Cisco Call Manager. We implemented the Cisco Unified Border element so we could interwork the SIP traffic to the H323 traffic that they run internally on their Call Manager. For their corporate, now their corporate and their store support have all on-net calling to any of the stores and vice versa. Okay? There you go. There's cost savings. Right, we reduced those with bringing those calls on net, right? We reduced those calls to zero cost. Another case study summary, Coldwell Banker, franchise in the Keys here, 5 location, replacement of their aging, several years ago, probably over 5 years ago. Replacement of their aging disparate phone systems at several locations with local broadband survivability and managed cybersecurity. So when we retermed them after 5 years for another 5 years, we actually implemented. So their whole Coldwell Banker's whole goal was to shift most of their applications to the web, right? They could do more as a service type things for the real estate business, whether it's connecting to the MLS or the images of homes and all that stuff, pulling all that stuff and all those feeds and managing all their vendors and everything that have everything to do with that ecosystem, right? Most of that stuff today has been moved to the cloud, and that was their goal 5 years ago. They started that. And we complemented that theme, we kind of facilitated that theme by taking out what was sort of a very site-to-site VPN, server-based in one location, one main location, where all the other locations had to depend on it. We kind of removed the dependency for all of that, or helped them move the dependency, all of that, and then gave them a consistent per-location security boundary with our managed security solution powered by Palo Alto Networks, okay? So each location has a box, Palo Alto box, in conjunction with being hosted PBX, right? They have an Edgewater, they have Palo Alto Networks appliance, security appliance there. And the way the Palo Alto next-gen solution works is Palo Alto has a cloud of their own, a forensics cloud. So they do all the analytics around the world and look for threats in real time and vulnerabilities. And then they write these signatures in near real time, and that gets downloaded to the Palo Alto ecosystem. So we've taken advantage of that and have replaced a single threaded firewall, which what they had, single phone systems at each site, dependencies on server-based, one location having a single server that facilitated all the other locations. As they moved things to the cloud, we gave them multi-home connectivity at each location, a consistent security boundary with the Palo Alto appliance and the WildFire cloud-based service. In addition to, bringing all the calls on net and giving them a high degree of survivability and business continuity. Based in the Keys, they're based in the Florida Keys. It's challenging, right? But they've gotten more, stability, much more stability. They understanding the hurricane and everything with power, notwithstanding power issues, but actually with the fiber connectivity that we put in place and the alternate technologies we put in place for their backup solution, they've got much better integrity and stability for their overall business. Yeah, so here's the solution, kind of talking ahead of it, right? Replace legacy phone systems, that was several years ago. And then with the reterm, we introduced this concept of Palo Alto Networks, bringing that in to give them a consistent security boundary at each location, no single location dependent on any other location or anything else other than itself. Bringing in multi-home connectivity, fiber optics being a big one, ATT Ethernet is the primary circuit there, and I think there's a Comcast backup. And then we implemented and maintained the cybersecurity solution from Palo Alto Networks to keep them protected. Okay. So UCaaS, kind of jumped ahead there. Hosted PBX in the cloud, high level, powered by Broadworks, now Cisco. Our services are all pay-as-you-go, so there's nothing you need to buy more than what you need. At any level, whether it's seats or, switch ports or any of those pieces, you're just buying, we have different size routers, right? So you're just buying what you need for your business and factoring in any scale. You're paying for just what you need. Management and monitoring services, all inclusive, and automatic, implementation of updates and innovations along the way. I'm sure you guys are familiar with all of this, so I'm not going to go through it all, but receptionist console, integrations, unified messaging with transcription is a nice feature, right, where we actually not just do the wave attachment in the email, but all of our customers have actual text transcription within the body of that same email, right, which is a nice add-on. Team One with UC SaaS, so this is the newer product for collaboration, right? Incorporates chat in workspace, file sharing, live meetings, all of that good stuff into a single pane of glass. So each subscriber can actually use it. Very similar to Skype, actually competes with Skype. And we have the solution working for PC, Mac, as well as Android-based tablets and smartphones. Okay. There's also mini apps for the solution widgets, if you will, that snap in to that single pane of glass. So if you've got an instance of Salesforce, Dropbox, there's many other applications, mini apps we call them, that are written to snap in to that single pane of glass. So you can have an area of that interface that has all your Salesforce pieces there. It's like a mini browser, right, for that particular application. Okay. Yeah, so everything you need for the team in one place, collaboration, right? We're moving toward that, moving not outside of the UCaaS. We're kind of now evolving unified communications into this unified communications and collaboration theme. That's our goal. Create modified documents in real time, so document sharing and publishing and everything in sort of real time, no matter who's making changes at whatever time. That's all synchronized and tracked, by the way. And then we're making it so that online sessions are as easy. It's almost like becoming the default, right? Where you get video and collaboration. When you dial that number, you dial that destination that has the same type of service activated, right? That's our goal. Contact center solutions. We've come a long way here. We started with BroadSoft Contact Center, very limited. We call it Call Center Express today, but we've augmented that with our new CC1 product and service, which is a partnership with BroadSoft in a subscription cloud service called BroadCloud. But same theme, it lives in the cloud, right? Subscription-based, scalable, up and down. It's seasonal, so you can have, if you have seasonal customers or customers that need to kind of increase, expand, or wind down a call center, a particular type of season, maybe the holiday season, they need to grow it, and then need to shrink it back in January, we can accommodate that so that they're not burdened with the cost of committing to something year-round that they don't need. Okay, high-level slide on call center. We're going to go into contact center a little bit more at the end, toward the end of the presentation, but our Business Edition Express product, that's built on BroadSoft, BroadWorks natively, sits at the bottom there, and of course it's very robust. It's not necessarily, but it limits some things like callback and analytics. It really doesn't have an analytics engine to it. That's where the CC1 family comes in, the Business Edition Standard, CC1 Salesforce Edition, and CC1 Business Edition Premium. These start to blend in, CRM, analytics, advanced analytics, omni-channel, where it considers feeds from email, social media, chat, instant messaging, things like that, those feeds. It considers those communications as part of the contact center, right? Because they really are. You might have a website, your customer may have a website with a chat widget in there so that the consumer can chat back and forth. All of that can be captured into the CC1 engine for analytics, right? And for routing optimization into queues, okay? For later routing optimization. Lots of dynamics there, and we're gonna talk about a little bit more of that in a bit. Just wanted to show you we have that. And then, of course, PBX trunking and TDM POTS replacement, right? There's still a lot of that going on out there, especially, again, with midstream hotels. We're seeing a lot of that, as well as the retail space. skip through that, the essence of time. Business networking solutions, so we offer everything from broadband access, SD-WAN layered over the top, we call that WAN optimization, as well as network resiliency, multiple broadband connections kind of working in harmony, right? Because of a piece of equipment that's managing it, maybe an Edgewater, maybe the customer's firewall, maybe it's a Palo Alto firewall, which is multi-homed, has multi-homing capabilities. So we do everything from dedicated internet, business grade T1 DSL, layer 2, to create more point-to-point networks or customer-based point-to-point meshes that they really, like a hub and spoke network or whatever, that they want to kind of connect their own equipment to and kind of operate at layer 3, the network layer. And then, most popular is layer 3 multi-location routed network. It's based in the cloud, whether it's internet or MPLS. We can deliver all of those services through our partners. Roll through this. WAN optimization is one of the newer products we've introduced here over the last 6 months. Is a premise-based SD-WAN solution, and we use Acessa Networks. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them. But obviously the goal there is a customer wants to take disparate broadband internet over-the-top broadband circuits. They want to create a higher aggregate of broadband breathing room for their business, and provide diversity, QoS for voice, all those pieces. We've got all that stuff baked in to our Acessa solution, SD-WAN solution. Along the way, we can start to prioritize particular applications that the customer has and wants prioritized. If they have certain type of streaming or certain type of applications they want prioritized over the network versus other applications, the voice always gets strict priority. They have the ability to adjust those levers and make that certain traffic be prioritized over other traffic, percentage-wise or via absolute bandwidth. Okay. Yeah, carrier agnostic solution, right? Big benefit of SD-WAN. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this and have heard a lot about it. Everybody's heard a ton about it, but carrier agnostic, so we can take anything in that has an Ethernet interface. If it's an LTE connection, cable, broadband, T1, right, with a T1 serial router with an Ethernet handoff, obviously optical Ethernet, symmetrical FiOS. Anything with an Ethernet handoff we can take in and make it blended in as part of the SD-WAN solution. We talked about Acessa, very popular in the space as far as a premise-based solution. There's one benefit of Acessa that not many other providers have, and that's that the customer generally can keep their IP addressing, right? So the customer's going to bring their own connection in many times. We might provide a second connection, or we might provide the first connection, whatever it is, but they're bringing one, and they've already got something numbered, all their servers and all their firewalls numbered and all of that. They don't have to change that, unlike many other solutions where, because there's a tunneling aspect to it for both their data and voice, they have to actually change their IP addresses. It's very disruptive. Okay, we talk about DNS and updating PTR records and whitelisting for emails and all that good stuff. You're putting a lot on the customer, right? The Acessa solution, the way we've created the strategy to transition, has become very transparent and with minimal impact to the customer during that day of transition. Okay. And guys, this is something, customers are not buying this. Again, we're configuring it, tuning it. We're having the consultative sessions, professional services piece that's baked into the offer. We're doing all of those things, having those conversations with the customer and with their technology folks to make sure that we're positioning everything. We're not impacting, existing servers and infrastructure that they have, because this is really complementing, it's really augmenting and enhancing their current environment. Okay, so we do all of those things as part of the solution, just like we would with turning up hosted PBX or SIP trunking. Yeah, so I'm sure you guys know the concept here. A 2 connection. We actually support up to 3 connections today with our Acessa solution, up through 2 gig, up and down as an aggregate. Customers using cable, fiber, doesn't really matter. On the left there, if a connection's cut and goes away, all of the traffic will flow through the surviving connection at that point. Voice can be hitless. We have 2 different variations of failover for voice. One is called our business standard offering, which phones have to re-register over the new connection. The voice, the calls in progress take a hit, right? They drop. Calls and setup continue. We have a set, so that one's more of an economical. It has all the QoS, all the aggregation, all the diversity that the typical SD-WAN solution has. We also have business critical, which is a step above business standard, and that allows for hitless failover for voice calls. Okay, so we do some unique tunneling just for the voice calls. It's transparent to the customer environment. Back to our data centers, we virtualized Acessa in our data centers, and we're able to shift seamlessly. I mean, we're talking sub-milliseconds, voice calls in progress to the surviving connection. And then we're diverse in our data centers as well, so we have the ability, you know, if a circuit can't reach over 2 tunnels or 3 tunnels back to Atlanta, it can shift that traffic through the Denver tunnels. So those tunnels are all built, pre-established, ready to handle the traffic. Even if one tunnel is actually actively handling the calls, you know, for 2 connections, there's 4 tunnels. For 3 connections, there's 6 tunnels that are up and available to handle the phone calls, okay, and calls in progress, most importantly. So that's called our SD-WAN business critical offer. Probably a good slide, but we'll, you know, again, carrier provider agnostic, transparent, application aware. Let me scroll, go back up. I can't even read that. You know, actively deals and solves network pathing issues, right? So there's built-in, baked-in parameters that we've tested with and fine-tuned over the last several months to really make the Acessa solution be as transparent as possible when there is a failover, right? Have as least impact as possible. So there really is lots of engineering and design effort that goes on underneath the covers if you really want to optimize the solution. If you just put an Acessa box, an appliance into the customer location, it does some very basic things very well, and the customer gets more than what they had before. But you really, to optimize the failover and the fallback and having these graceful sort of transitions, it takes a lots of behind-the-scenes engineering and design effort to make that work the best for any size customer, right? No matter what, you know, how much broadband they have. Network resiliency, so that's more or less just expanding on through WAN optimization and SD-WAN. You know, it's generally putting in a second circuit, a third circuit, or whatnot, SD-WAN over the top. You know, we're always recommending that you do that in any solution. Just a high-level touch. I know we're running probably short on time here. Managed network security powered by Palo Alto Networks. So, you know, the Palo Alto solution gives us the ability to do real-time threat mitigation, control accessible content with URLs, application-based filtering, not just URL filtering, but actually applications, application aware. So it knows the difference between, you know, Facebook video and a regular Facebook feed, you know, down to that level versus Pandora or any other streaming type applications or any of these applications across. There's signatures for each one of those. It knows the difference. You can schedule those. The customer can have those scheduled for any time of day of week, however they want to custom tune it. Maybe they don't want to allow streaming video, music, CNN, et cetera, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, right? But they want to allow it after 5. Those types of things can be scheduled within the Palo Alto environment framework. Leverage global VPN for remote users and endpoints, of course, that's there. And then you gain access to Panorama. So we have our own security incident event manager, our SIM, through Palo Alto. It's called Panorama. And that's how we manage and monitor not just the uptime of the boxes, right, but what threats are going on in the ecosystem around our customers at that time. The nice thing, again, about Palo Alto Networks is they've taken the heavy lifting, right? They are the threat mitigation piece of this. They have their own cloud. Again, they're always looking around the world in real time for vulnerabilities and threats, potentially writing the actual signatures to avoid those threats, mitigate, right? And then those automatically get downloaded to the appliances. So we're not having to have, you know, I don't have to have a chief forensics officer, a chief security officer on staff here. Palo Alto's already got that baked into their subscription part of the solution they call WildFire, okay? And that's an integral part of every Palo Alto solution that we put out there. Yeah, managed security as a service, Palo Alto WildFire threat management, you know, stops exploits, mitigates zero-day attacks in near real time. We're talking within 15 minutes. which is, you can't do that with a UTM with a standalone unified threat management system from, a Fortinet or a SonicWall or any of the others. Premium intrusion protection, right? Stops malware exploits and advanced threats. That's all included. App ID content filtering is included in the solution. And then we monitor and manage it all. Okay? So, any questions so far? We're about done. Yeah. Okay. Can I get, Dan, can I get like 1 minute? Wrap it up. So, how can we help you guys, right? How can we help you sell more of anything? Hopefully BroadSmart, right? I mean, as a true partner, right, we're willing, more than willing to become face of the opportunity, right? We want to become part of that. So if you want to put us in front, I'm always available. I have sales engineers available. Of course, Luke's available. We're highly technical. If there's something that you don't understand, that a customer's wanting, it might be worth a talk with us, right? With me, for example, to understand, help understand what the customer really needs there, and is it really doable, right? Maybe something that you don't think is doable, you want to pass it up, but come to us first before you just pass it up. Let us talk through it together, what the customer needs, maybe on a phone call with the customer, go anywhere to meet the customer, whatever we need to do, let's talk through it, before we decide if that's something that's not a good fit or really too complex. Most of the things we do too complex that come to us because no one else can do them, okay? We're willing to do, situations like this, sponsor lunch and learns, host collaborative meetings and workshops, we want to do that. Provide constant relevant solution collateral. We've started a whole collateral, a new collateral drive, along with webinars. We're releasing a series of 4 webinars over the next 6 months. So that's going to be a big deal, and you guys are going to be able to participate in those. Invest in attacking new verticals, niches, something you feel like might be worth looking at. It's sort of unique in the marketplace. Come to us, let's talk about it, see what we can do there. Okay, open to any ideas. Okay. We do have, contact center, I know I run out of time here. Yeah. Contact center, I just want to invite you guys next Friday, if we can get everybody's email that's interested in this, we'll have some raffles and things like that going on, but we have a live webinar next Friday if you guys are interested in our advanced contact center called CC1, okay? And that has everything from high-end analytics, workforce optimization. It's got everything in a very sophisticated call center. We're selling this solution into call centers that are as little as 15 seats. Okay, it's very, very price compelling and competitive. So we'll get Luke will be around to get your information, or you guys have it on hand. But we'd like to give you the special invite. This would be a demo just for the TCG group next Friday. Okay, and we thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks.